Here's how one of my students jumped from a grade 5 to a grade 8 on AQA Language Paper 1, question 4 with just one fix. Now, this is a simple rubric that we can use for question 4, paper 1. Clear agreement, disagreement, the amount of quotes and techniques, and also the amount of clear effects. Particularly the second two criteria apply to every reading section and literature question across language and literature. So let's see the student's answer. They have expressed an opinion, some agreement, and some partial disagreement, but it's a little bit thin because they didn't really justify it. They just went straight into the evidence. But they have expressed some. Now, they've only included 3 quotes. This yip, I prepared for my end for nothing. It started running in circles again. And also, it stayed there shaking and whining and turning around on itself. So only 3 quotes. So I instructed her to add 2 more micro quotes, one to this paragraph and one to the final paragraph. She's also identified some techniques. She identified repetition, but she just repeated it again here, so she wouldn't get an additional mark. She also identified short sentences, and she only said word again. Now, word is not enough to get marks for the technique, so she should have said it was an adverb. And then finally, she mentioned these being adverbs, but they are not adverbs, they are verbs. So she lost marks for technique. So I told her to mention some more. For example, for this quote, yip, it's also onomatopoeia. And again, mention that this is a adverb. And shaking and whining and turning around on itself is verbs. And also a triplet and a list. So she can get some more marks for techniques. And as a result, she will keep explaining what does that make the reader feel? What does that make the reader think? So she can get more marks for the effects. Now, let's look at the paragraph rewritten. Her original first paragraph just had one technique in effect. She mentioned repetition, which creates a bizarre image, but she obviously repeated repetition again, meaning she wouldn't get an additional mark. However, rewriting it, we've found repetition, explained the effect. Then we mentioned onomatopoeia in that phrase and explained the effect of that. And then she added another micro quote and explained the technique from that. So we continued that for the rest of the essay, and she went from a mark of 10 out of 20 to 16 out of 20. So 6 additional marks. So book a 10-minute call and I'll map this quick fix to your teen's struggles too.